Welcome, everybody, to the Winner Circle podcast. We're back here today with a Herizon Awards winner, Daria Leshchenko from SupportYourApp. This is an extraordinary story of women leadership and women really driving corporations and driving new business internationally. So it's really a pleasure to have you here on the podcast. Why don't you just give us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background?
Hi, Russ. Thank you so much. My pleasure joining today the podcast. So looking forward for our conversation. So my name is Daria Leshchenko. I'm CEO at SupportYourApp, SaaS company, but we reinvented this word. So it's support as a service. So we provide customer technical support services for IT companies, whether it's software, hardware, e-commerce, telecom, and many more. And of course, currently we do have AI layers. So we are talking about combination of human creativity and AI efficiency. Different levels, 60 languages, 24/7. So it's all about SupportYourApp.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting time to be in this space with AI coming on board and the landscape's really changing. You've done something extraordinary. You took that outsourced team model and brought it in to support your customers. But what's really interesting is you've built this business kind of remotely from you started off in the Ukraine, right?
Correct. Yeah. We have started 15 years ago. And primarily, all our first clients were Mac developers. And we thought that, okay, so developing applications for Mac computers, let's say, not an easy journey for Mac developers. But of course, it's also about the customer support for, again, Mac users as well. And Mac users, they are more demanding. And we have decided to start with providing support to them. We saw the demand basically. And one of our first client was a company called MacPaw with their very first application called Clean My Mac 1. And after some time, we realized that, okay, so Mac developers, cool. Maybe there are something else. And we found other IT companies that were growing. So that is why currently we have teams all over the world, and we provide our services not just for Mac developers and IT companies, but as I mentioned, to e-commerce, SaaS, even for some automotive companies. But I can't, tell you the names, but they're very, very well known.
We know customer confidentiality well around here, so I appreciate that. But the story here is really interesting because you've grown this business, this IT support business, kind of from Ukraine, and then you had, you know, global turmoil happen in the country. So that was really an interesting thing to lead through, I bet.
That's true. And by the way, the COVID really helped to expand and to go to other markets, because before that we were thinking about, okay, maybe we should go and explore other markets, other countries for hiring people, for hiring new members. And then COVID hit. And we were like, okay, so there are no borders, and especially there are no borders for IT companies and IT service companies. So first we went to LATAM, and I flew to Argentina, to Buenos Aires to meet my team there, because when we have started hiring in Argentina, we hit like 50 people very, very fast. And that is why I decided to go there. After some time, we expanded to Africa, to Eastern Europe. And again, of course, we had fails. For instance, the Philippines didn't work for us. Of course, too competitive market, too
Very.
many BPO companies. But other markets, we entered very slowly, like using lean approach. So we didn't invest a lot of money into this market. Firstly, we hired some people, like feel the ground, check candidates, check the cultural match. And after some time, we have started, hiring more and more and more. And as of now, it's international team. It's, I don't know, they're like, we just, as I mentioned, celebrated 15 years of Support Your App, and we met with some team members online, with some team members offline. And when we met with our team members online, it was so special, especially for me, when I see people all over the world joining one link. There were hundreds of people, and we were talking like one language, because we do have these values, but for me, values, it's not a buzzword. It's when something you feel the energy that really resonates you. And some people can be very technical. Some people can be very good, like ideal fit for our, let's say, clients' requirements. But there are, we don't see common things. We are not on the same page with them. So that is why, of course, there are no good or bad people. It's just like yours or not yours.
Yeah, and people are either trained or untrained, or know things or don't know things. So it's now.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back real quick. You became CEO at 24. What moment did you realize, like, I can do this?
I do remember I came back from Boston, because I moved to Boston to give a try and conquering, let's say, North America by moving there. So I was trying to find clients before Google Meets, before Zoom calls. It was Skype or offline meetings. And I do remember how it was very tough. I was on my own, basically. The team was small, and our user base was also like not too big. And I do remember we were struggling, and we have launched a product hunt. And after product hunt, it was successful because it was the beginning of product hunt era. And many also developers, ID representatives were like on product hunt, and they noticed Support Your App. And many companies started reaching out, and I was in Boston, so it was very convenient to talk to them. We were in the same time zone. And I do remember, okay, so on one hand, I do have clients. On another hand, for those clients, I have people. And I do remember when I grew up from customer support representative myself. And it was not just like I joined the company and became CEO. No, it was very slow, very organic growth. And I felt, I think, responsibility when I need to fulfill all requests from our clients, at the same time manage team, at the same time grow potential of our internal team, because of course we have new managers, we've started growing, there appeared new positions, and all the processes. Oh my gosh, I do remember, in the very beginning, there were no processes. Nothing, at all. Even though right now there are, I don't know, so many different processes, SOPs, standards, and instructions. As we are PCI DSS compliance level 1, we have ISO certification. We have to do it every year. And when I put all these puzzles together, clients, people, the team, processes, systems, obligations, responsibilities, etc., I will figure out, okay, so here we are. I'm not just CEO for the check mark. I'm CEO because I'm making decisions, sometimes tough decisions, every day. Of course, there are ups and downs, and awards, for instance, I would say that for us, awards are important because it's acknowledgement of, of everything that we put together with my team in growing, in building the culture, in shaping the industry itself. So I think that, I don't remember the exact date, But putting all these puzzles together, I figure out that right now I'm not just a team member. I'm responsible for the team itself.
Yeah, it's interesting when you start a business. I remember myself and a couple of times being involved in small businesses and starting my own business. You really do. You wear all those hats, and people hear that, but until you experience that, you don't really know because 1 minute you're writing a marketing post, and 2 seconds later you've got a customer screaming in your ear, and a third second later you've got the sales team there asking you questions, and so you're wearing all those hats at the same time, and it's not like you get to put it on and off.
Yep.
You're wearing it all the time. During those early days, what did you get right, and what did you have to kind of unlearn? What did you have to undo as you moved along through that growth process?
To undo, I think all mistakes that I made and all fails that I had, I don't want to undo them because without them, probably we were still getting new mistakes. So that is why I think every lesson that I had was lesson, and I would tolerate fails in the company. Of course, when it's repeated and fails, the same fails, it's not very good. But if you're doing something, of course, you would be doing something wrong, and you never know what is right and what is not, especially in these very vulnerable times, and especially when like everything is changing every day. And sometimes we just say, okay, in the company, let's experiment. We even
Hmm.
have some percentage of our budget that we're just like putting in different baskets for experiments. And even some experiments they just didn't go through, or they just again fail. This fine, and I don't want to undo something because you know like it's just the part of our journey.
Got it. Now we're going, as you said, into the kind of this interesting time. We've got a lot of change in the world and a lot of change happening. A lot of it driven by AI, and you guys are adopting that. Where do you think AI is going to really deliver the value in that customer experience?
um like I'm thinking about AI like every day, and we have started investing in AI 4 5 years ago. Um, like uh, my philosophy that a human can be very efficient using AI in a right way, as well as like customer support without AI will be, I don't know, like that tomorrow.
Yeah.
We just need to combine. We just need to integrate. Right now, AI correctly. Right now, as SupportYourApp, we say that we are a AI-driven company. We have many different AI frameworks that we use for emails, for live chats, for voice, for instance. We're using a lot of like ready solutions like that the 11 Labs, for instance. Right now, they have great API, etc. So we have developed AI voice agents for our clients, as well as we can set up for our clients for their in their CRM systems different AI frameworks. If it's an intercom, we can use Fin. If
Mm.
it's a Zendesk, we can use their solutions, or we can find something that our clients will ask us. Even though we have our own in-house AI solution called Quidget, and I think that we just need to use AI. Otherwise, is it the beginning of end, let's say, and utilize it correctly. I always use this quote, that AI is like a knife. If you know how to use it, you can just cut the butter. But if you don't, you can even kill a person, right?
Mm.
And I do remember the story on one of the conference. One one person told me the story about elevators. It was so interesting that when some buildings in the US have started implemented embedded elevators into the buildings. Do you remember these movies maybe when you have an elevator and you have a bellboy, right, or boy
Hmm.
who will click a button? So basically, people could do this on their own, but they were like kind of afraid of just click the button. And one day it was I don't remember, like some strike or so. So all these boys were like off. And residents told, okay, so let's try to use the elevator on our own. And they were in the beginning very afraid to click a button. But there are no boy. So they were just, like click the button and elevator went up or went down. So they said, we don't need boy anymore. So, and like it's time, of course, it's experience, but it's something like I see how like not in the same pace, but much faster, on a faster pace. What's going on with the AI right now?
Yeah, and I think the customer experience, kind of the support model, is such a great use case for AI because there is so much knowledge about lots of products and lots of, lots of the answers are already there, and there's got to be that human flow. Beyond the cost of AI, how are you measuring kind of the AI's impact? Are you looking at quality, the quality of responses? Are you looking at the retention rates? What are you
Mhm.
looking at to kind of measure the overall impact beyond cost?
I think that the most important KPI for using AI will be deflection rate. It's
Mm,
how many requests were forwarded to a human, basically, that AI wasn't able to answer. And I think it's important metric for using AI. You mentioned cost. That's true. Uh, Deflection rate. And I think that is what is very important when you're using AI. It's how good, cleaned, well prepared is the documentation. Because the
mm,
biggest bottleneck that we see right now, yeah, you do have FAQs, you have a knowledge base, but it's out of date for
mm,
many companies and many clients. And then when you even use AI and you can train LLMs and you can do whatever you want, very secure, etc., you need, like to prepare the data, because
mm.
without data, it's just, I don't know, it's useless, right?
Yeah.
It's on one hand. On another hand, you need to update the data all the time. Of course, there are reinforcement learning features, many LLMs, platforms, solution, they have it. And, but again, you need a person behind who'll be, checking whether the model knows the answer correctly. How was the tone of voice? I mean, like, because sometimes, of course, the model can hallucinate.
Mhm.
Sometimes can just be, like too proactive or start solving something that not to be solved, not need to be solved. And right now it's time to implement it very carefully. Of course, we're talking about eliminating a level 1 support and start to use it on level 2 support. There are many different use cases, but not, like try to put AI on everything, try to do it once, like for just like for every aspect of customer support department. I think the best moment and the best approach for using AI is just, like implement, launch, test. Okay, if it works perfectly, then expand, then add some new models, some new um, topics, and then it will be very efficient without, like negative experience for clients. That is why, like as I mentioned, the philosophy that we have here at SupportYourApp, it's combination
Mm.
human and AI. Because without human AI, right now, I'm not talking about the future, but right now, it doesn't I can't say about empathy, but AI doesn't have this soul, like
Right.
sometimes you need to not even think out of the box. You sometimes need to do some emotional solution that AI can't do, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Again,
it's interesting.
yet.
It's yeah, it is. Yeah, it's super interesting because the AIs are really seeking authority and authenticity, and that's what they're out there, trying to look for and trying to learn. And that's the hardest thing for them to convey is that authentic, empathetic human emotion.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you've led this team through significant adversity, through growth and adversity. As you mentioned before, you had a program kind of launch and fail in the Philippines. You found a home in West Africa. Tell us a little bit about that, a little bit about the failure, and a little bit about how you found West Africa.
Mm-hmm. So basically, the Philippines, I always thought that it's a great opportunity for us to go there to start because every person in the Philippines is very service oriented. And of course, English, it's a huge plus. And as I mentioned, we went there, we started like hiring many, many people. And then we figure out that basically, turnover rate was too high, even
Mm,
though like the compensation level was like average. But again, we have obligation for before our clients, and we have our standard turnover rate that I think, of course, in our case is better than industry has because we have the different departments, like people experience department. We talk to people, we listen to people, we try to find different projects in case if the person wants to grow. And that is why people are, like staying within the company. And even though like we have some team members who have started with me, so some of them have been working with me 14 years, 13 years. Today, I had 2 anniversary talks. One person 9 years, another person 7 years. I know it's
oh, that's
crazy.
great. That's
But they
amazing,
said,
isn't it?
yeah, it is. But even though I said like, okay, loyalty, this is not our value anymore because loyalty was our value for a very, very long time. Because right now, I think that the most important for businesses is like efficiency. However, those 2 people with whom I had talks today, milestone talks, they said like, okay, yeah, I'm here 7 years, I'm here 9 years, but every year the company is different.
Mm,
Tasks are different, challenges are different, everything is different. That is why they didn't want to leave the company or try to find something else because they said like, oh, we're not bored. We like trying and growing and growing like not just professionally but personally every year. So I think it's really, really cool. So when, let's say, we moved back to the Philippines, so when we measured the turnover rate, we figure out, okay, is there something wrong? And we start talking to people. Okay, so why you would like to leave the company? What's going on? And then we found that basically, as I mentioned, very competitive market. That is why every person has another offer like every day. And even
mm-hmm.
if another company will propose a person even like $25 more, the person just leave the company and will go like for another company. So that is why we said like, okay, we don't want to compete with this $25 because apart from this there are operational costs that we need to
Mm-hmm.
manage, again hire, again onboard people, even though right now we automate everything like in terms of onboarding. We have our onboarding specialists, but some basic blogs, they are automated, pre-recorded, etc. And we decided like, okay, so maybe we should go and explore other markets. And I do remember one of our team members moved to South Africa, for instance, to Cape Town, and we asked her to check. Okay, so what how's the market? Are the there are like customer support companies, other BPO companies. And yeah, she basically checked the market, made a kind of R&D. And I don't remember that she said like, okay, so looks like it's very, like good market for fine and bright candidates. So as I mentioned, after the Philippines, we have started very carefully explore those markets. So we just opened up one vacancy and started talking to people, started, checking how they react to our questions. Because as I mentioned, we work with the fintech companies as well. And for them, security is very important. That is why we have different layers of questions during the interview process. And we have like KYC procedure. And we need to check all the, questions for our KYC department before we send the proposal. So that is why we have tested a couple of vacancies, and it was successful. I mean, like the candidates were very nice, and it was basically a match. That's why we started to hire in South Africa. Then we went to Morocco, to North Africa, and like we started exploring like every company.
How many countries are you in now with support people?
I think that we have around 30 to 40.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations. Now, you talk about loyalty, and that's not your key metric anymore. But I noticed in the Herizon Awards nomination, 60% of your managers are actually hired from within. That's got to be
that's true.
it's got to be double the average.
Yeah, that's true. And I love this, let's say, I love this about SupportYourApp. However, I mentioned why loyalty, this is not our value anymore. For me, it's very important. However, when we talk about the business wise, I found some of our people, they were with the company for like 10 years, but at some point they stopped. Like they have stopped developing, and as they was with they were with the company for like 10 years. Of course, for loyalty, they wanted to have the increase in compensation, obviously, and of course it's normal. That's fine. However, in terms of okay, what's next? You can give to the company. Maybe you can, like do something better, faster. And when it's, on the same level, and through to the time, when you're on the same level, it means that you're still like going down.
Right.
And for going down in terms of efficiency, you would like to have the better conditions. It's something that is not like good for when you're talking about numbers, when you're talking about the profit, when you're talking about the revenue, etc. So that is why we met with our top management team, and I said like, look, I know that it's very maybe weird to change values because we've created those values, I don't know, 10 years ago, but I think it's okay because everything is changing in this world, and we are not the company that we were like yesterday anymore.
That's right.
That's why let's think about our new values. Because even me as a CEO, as a part of SupportYourApp, oh my gosh, 50 years ago, 10 years ago, even 1 year ago, I think I am completely different person.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, everything evolves and changes all the time, and companies have to evolve. The one final question for you, as you think about team members joining your team, and as you think about kind of the AI landscape moving forward in customer experiences, what's one capability that new employees seem to lack that you really would wish that everybody had kind of in their tool bag? What's something that is just seems to be missing from today's today's new employees?
I think it's ability to learn something new
Mm,
and implement it.
interesting. So
Because
are you finding people have a challenge with that, or?
again, as if you're talking about AI flavor, um, it really eliminated many things. Like, I don't know, like writing, creating, etc. So that is why I think that is very important to be, like to be not just efficient but professional in whatever you do. It's just ability to learn something new. Okay, there is new technology, there is something new frameworks, new, I don't know, like skills that we need to have even right now to write prompts, right? Correct prompts using them in ChatGPT. Because without like learning new things on, I don't know, daily basis, basically, I think for it's not for new generation, it's just for every person right now who lives in this world. It's important to learn something new and then implement it, because otherwise, I think people who using this new knowledge base and gain new skills will win this game eventually, because we never know what skill set we will have to have in 1 year. Maybe we just need to, I don't know, to requalify and, I don't know, like be very creative, or even just instead of customer support, we will need to check what AI does in terms of, we call this conversational designers, for instance. There is a new kind of vacancy or speciality when the person can check how the AI manages conversation. It's kind of not a QA for AI, but even sometimes we'll need to guide the AI, right? But again, it's not a special, we already know who is customer support representatives. We know a list of responsibilities for HR manager, but some I don't know, vacancies, some specialties, they don't have even right now. They don't have even prescriptions. I mean, like they don't have even information, so you can find it. That is why when you learn something new, you can apply those knowledge and be very professional and very successful in what you do.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. Daria Leshchenko, thank you so much for joining us, and again, congratulations on the Herizon Award and building this amazing company.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today, and thank you for our time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.